I'm Eric,
And I'm Lisa.
your relationship growth strategist.
And we help couples thrive at their highest and best so they can transform their marriage from ordinary to extraordinary.
So today we're going to dive a little deeper into our personal stories, and Lisa has a story she would like to share.
It all begins with getting real with conversation with your spouse. This was something that was very hard for me for a very long time to do within our own marriage.
It was.
And one day I actually had to stand up and I had to face the fear of what a real conversation would be like with Eric, and speaking about my past history that I had never told him about and I had actually withheld for many years within our marriage. And this was not intentional, it was not on purpose. It was for many reasons of fear that I had of how he would look at me and judge me. So to delve a little deeper into this, and if anybody can relate out there, you may be coming from the same place of holding this fear back. When I was in my youth of being sexually molested and raped, I didn't want a single person in the world to know about it. I kind of buried it in. It's something especially women tend to do, but I'm sure there's other people out there that do it as well. I wanted to bury it deep inside, and I never wanted a single person to know about it again. And unfortunately, this came into play even with Eric. It's something I didn't want you to know about. It's something I didn't want the world to know about. A lot of shame was involved, and a feeling of myself that I could never be good enough in the space of being intimate and in any of my intimate relationships with Eric. So it was a fear of being judged, really. And it was difficult. It was difficult to work through, and it was difficult. But it was a need and a must for our marriage, very on the intimate level, because there was something that was holding me back from giving my full self to the person who I really loved and who I cared for. I think this was actually about 10 years into our marriage, 11 years into our marriage.
Yeah, 10, 11 years, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so this was like an open can of worms for us to deal with when it actually finally came out. And it was really kind of forced out, but it was needed. It was something that was needed and that I needed to share with him, that I had just held in for so long. Actually, I held it in for 20 years of my life of not telling anybody. But most importantly, it hurt me. It hurt me that I couldn't be honest with him, and I was afraid to tell him. And there was many other reasons that I had never said anything, but the biggest one was the fear of how he would look at me after I had released this. And I'm sure you did. I mean, I'm sure you saw me in a different light afterwards. I know you did.
Yeah.
It was probably hard to, as a couple, it was probably our biggest standpoint of where we had to reflect and look back on our own relationship and kind of say, who has this couple been for the last 11 years? Have we been really real with each other? Have our conversations been more than just what's the weather, or, how was work today, or, how was your day with the kids? Our conversation now became more about us and who we were as a couple and where we needed to go in order to move forward within our own marriage. Because I know that you felt hurt on many levels.
Yeah.
And the hurt, feeling that way, wasn't unexpected for me. It wasn't unexpected that he would feel hurt, mainly because I didn't share with him. I didn't feel confident enough in myself, and I didn't trust him to share with him something that really needed to be shared for so many years. And, those were all personal decisions that I took immediate, responsibility for. But it was also the time in our marriage to really look back and say, okay, where do we need and what do we need to go forward? How can we work through this together? You were very real in your feelings to me, and that was always appreciative. And responding that's what I call real, responding in an empathetic, authentic, and loving way. He wasn't like, oh my gosh, how could you do this to me? This is like the worst thing you could ever done. Although you may have felt that way on a certain level, which I understand was, could come from any place. But being real, we handled it in such a in a loving manner, an understanding manner, and that I was forever grateful for.
I love you. I want to be with you. I want to make it work.
So that's what we had to decide. Like, where do we move forward, and how do we to continue this conversation of being real with each other? So we were always continuously responding to each other in a way that was real, really empathetic and really authentic and really loving. So we learned new ways. We learned new habits of being honest.
We did.
And this is where trust came into really play with each other. Because from that point on, we began to really share with each other more of our feelings of real rawness, like real richness, richness, and really we started to really delve into more of talking beyond the level of just like within our own relationship. We started to take it, intimately into the bedroom. We started to take it intimately with each other, in verbal communication and even nonverbal communication, which that was what we struggled with for a very long time, because I wasn't able to tell him the things that I really enjoyed as a couple, even in the bedroom. It was a place where I didn't know what I enjoyed sometimes, and I'm sure that I didn't know that coming from such a painful experience. I didn't know what I really enjoyed, because for so long I wasn't able to openly receive it.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff going on at that time too, so there's a lot of things that were going wrong for us, and we, the worst thing that was happening to us became our best thing. We turned everything around, and it's been really great ever since.
Many people have approached us about communication being one of the fundamental elements of their relationship where they struggle. And this was actually at a time where we were struggling as well. We weren't talking with each other as much as what we should have been talking with each other. We grew really distant. So communication was probably at the top of our level of like disconnection, and in very many ways, not just like, not sharing what had happened to me, but on many different levels. We weren't connection with that real communication, and that's why communication, we put it at like the top of our like everyday interactions with each other. And yes, it could be just those little things, like little tiny things, like how was your day, or things like that. But beyond that, like, really, what are you feeling today? You can tell me honestly what you're feeling today.
That's right.
And from that point on, our whole realm of relationship has grown, and our marriage has grown from that standpoint. And we grow with it each and every day, and we reflect and readjust it. So like, if we feel ourselves not talking as much and connecting as much as a level, we have to take that time to pause and step back and say to ourselves, okay, life is getting too crazy right now, and we're really not connecting with each other. We make it a priority within our marriage to actually put the kids to bed earlier as much as we can, and actually stay up later just so we can have that time to each other, just to check in. And many people have said to us, well, you guys have such a great marriage now, and it wasn't always that way. That's one of our main points we're driving towards. It wasn't always that way. We've worked really hard at growing our marriage together. And we were just joking with the kids last night. We're looking at each other. We're like, 20 years this year will be our 20-year, anniversary.
2019, yep.
And we're looking at each other like, oh my gosh, time has gone by really fast. And that's the other point we want to make to you today. Time does really it goes by fast, and we can't get it back. And so every moment and every precious moment that you're not sharing with each other, that real authentic experience of communication, you're missing out on some really, really great stuff that can happen within your relationship. So our main goal is for you to be real with each other, so that you can experience that richness in your marriage, that you can really have that fun and that close, intimate level, and that close physical level, because it's really, really great when you can get that.
It is.
And sometimes I even get so excited about our relationship on so many levels that I forget to let him squeeze in anything that...
It's all right. We're all listening, right?
So we hear you on many levels. That's what we want to say to you. We hear you when you share with us that, communication is at the top, because we get it. We've been there, and, we want you to grow your relationship. We want you to thrive at your highest and best, and we want to take you to levels beyond the extraordinary. And, we just had some recent members within our group that, we have that are really excited too, because we're going to be doing a communication series within our group, and it's Extraordinary Marriage, Infinite Passion. We're going to do a communication series. We go live every Wednesday within our group for our Connection Wednesdays, and we are going to delve deeper into our very first topic of communication series, and we're going to really get in there and find out what's holding all of us back. Sometimes we don't want to say what we really want to say. It just happened to us last weekend when we kind of we had our date night, I was afraid to say something at first, and then I'm like, you know what? No, this is what our relationship about. We can come from a level we're beyond that level of like, oh my God, what he's going to think of me if I say something. So it was really great. I said it. We had fun with it. We played, that's what it's about, when you can break through that fear.
That's it.
So come on over, join our group. We'd love to have you there. And remember, we will be live here every Thursday. In our group, we go live every Wednesday. But come back with us every Thursday here, as we're going to be, really taking things up a notch for you.
That's it. That's it for today, guys.
Okay.
So if you know anybody any couples out there who want to fall in love again or stay in love, please share this video.
And have a great day.
All right, thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye-bye.